Hare Krishna. We'll begin the 2 weeks back we were discussing Dhruva Maharaj's repentance after getting the benedictions from Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu not only awarded Dhruva Maharaj Prema, but he also awarded Dhruva Maharaj the previous, he also awarded, he fulfilled the previous desires of Dhruva Maharaj with which he began bhakti. Dhruva Maharaj, although he did not ask those desires when the Lord appeared, but the Lord also chose to fulfill his previous material desires apart from awarding him Prema Bhakti. So Dhruva Maharaj, therefore, he was lamenting, he was repenting. Vidura had asked a question to Maitreya Rishi about the reason for Dhruva Maharaj's repentance. So that is described in 6 shlokas, 30th to 35th shloka. So we are discussing we'll begin the 31st shloka. Aho batamamanatmyam
अहो बत ममात्नाट्यम्
mandabhagyasya pashyat
मन्दभाग्यस्य पश्यत
bhavachchidapadamoolam
भवच्छिदः पादमूलम्
gatva yache yadantavat.
गत्वा याचेयदन्तवत्. Alas, just look at me. I am so unfortunate. I approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can immediately cut the chain of repetition of birth and death. But still, out of my foolishness, I prayed for things which are perishable.
So Dhruva Maharaj is actually lamenting that he aspired for something which are actually perishable in nature. Ahobata mamanatmyam mandabhagyasya pashyata bhavachchida padamulam gatva yache yadantavat. So let us see the shloka more closely. So ahobata, it means he is actually expressing wonder, or it's like an exclamation mark. There are different verses in the Bhagavatam also. Aho bata shvapachato gariyan yajjihvagre vartate namatubhyam. The dog eater who is chanting the holy names of Krishna is actually a superior guru than a person who has studied the Vedas. Aho bata, that shloka also starts with aho bata. Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, I think towards the end of the first chapter, the shloka comes, Aho bata mahat papam kartum yavasita vayam yadrajya sukalobena hantum svajana mudyataha. Arjuna says that, Aho bata mahat papam, oh alas, I have I have become ready to perform a great sin of killing all my relatives. Aho bata mahat papam kartum yavasita vayam yad rajya sukha lobena. Just because of the greed for the rajya sukha, I have become prepared to kill my own relatives. Antum swajana mudyata. What a great calamity. Aho bata mahat papam. Similarly here, aho bata. Aho ascharya So Dhruva Maharaj is actually exhibiting his wonder, expressing his wonder. Mandabhagyasya mama anatmyam. Mandabhagyasya means somebody who is having mandabhagya, the less fortunate. Mama anatmyam. Anatmyam means hridaya rahityam. Hridaya rahityam murkatam. Pashyata. See my foolishness. See the foolishness of such an unfortunate person like me. How foolish I am. What is the foolishness? Bhavachida. Bhavachida means samsaro chedakasya harehe. Lord Hari is capable of destroying the samsara. Lord Hari is lotus feet. But Hare padamulam gatva api. Even after attaining the lotus feet of that Lord Hari, who can destroy the material existence, yad antavat rajyam dhruvalokadi chirakalasthāyapi antato vinashyeva tad yachitavan asmi. But I actually prayed for something which is perishable. Like Dhruva, of course, he did not explicitly pray, but he is lamenting about the previous desires with which he began his bhakti. Lord Hari is capable of completely destroying the material existence, but I approach the Lord for some perishable things, like getting a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma, like a Dhruva Loka, etc. So, Vishwanath Chakotipada also says in his commentary, see the foolishness of this unfortunate person. Mandabhagyasya mama anatmyam. Anatmyam means murkatam. Mandabhagyasya anatmyam pashyata. So, bhavachida padamulam gatva. Having attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who destroy the material existence, yad antavat ache. I prayed for something which is perishable. So Dhruva Maharaj is feeling that I got Diksha from Narada Muni. I got Vaishnava Diksha from Narada Muni. But still, I had a desire toward the temporary things. That is my fault. So anatmyam means the state of ignorance, or the anatmyam means that which is devoid of Atma. That which is devoid of Atma, the state of ignorance. So when a person identifies himself with the body, that is a state of ignorance. And when a person identifies himself with the body, or when a person considers the body to be the Atma, then a person prays for something which gratifies the body. That means a person aspires for temporary things. So the Lord, however, by His mercy, gave me a place which is not temporary. Yeah, the Lord gave him a place which is not temporary, but Dhruva Maharaj is lamenting. Well, I had an aspiration for temporary things. See my foolishness. So Srila Prabhupada's purport, let us go through. The word anatmyam means without any conception of the soul. Then he quotes Rishabhadev's teachings. Rishabhadev instructed his sons that unless a human being comes to the point of understanding the Atma or spiritual position, whatever he does is ignorance. And this brings only defeat in his life. So, till the time a person understands the Atma, a person only aspires for temporary things. Rishabhadev says in his teachings, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma Yadindriya Pritaya Apranoti न साधु मन्ये यत आत्मनोयम असन अपि क्लेशद आसदेह. Pramatta means inattentive. The inattentive Jivatma, he becomes absorbed in the different activities for sense gratification. Indriya Pritaya Apranoti. And therefore, Vikarma, he engages in Vikarma, he engages in sinful activities. Nasadu manye yata atmanoyam asan api kleshada asadeha. So therefore, he receives another body which is kleshada, which only gives suffering. And na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam, and which actually does not belong to the jivata. So na sadhu manye, I do not consider such actions proper. So, and then Rishabhadev says, Prabhupada is referring to these two shlokas from Rishabhadev's teachings in the purport. Parabhavas tavad abodha jato yavanna jigyasata atma tattvam yavat kriyas tavad idam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. Parabhavas tavad abodha jato. As long as a living entity, yavan na jigyasata atma tattvam. Na jigyasata atma tattvam. As long as a living entity does not inquire about the Atma, such a person remains in bondage, which is created by ignorance. And as long as a person performs pious or sinful actions, yavat kriyas, tavad idam manovai. Mana, the mind remains absorbed in action. Karmatmakam, the bondage to repeated bodies continues. Yena sharira bandha. So in these two shlokas of Rishabhadev's teachings, Rishabhadev talks about the importance of inquiring about the Atma. When a person does not inquire about the Atma, one is simply absorbed in piety, that means fruitive activities or sinful activities. So therefore, even the Bhagavatam, the first canto says that Kamasya Nendriya Preetir Labho Jiveta Yavata Jivasya Tattva Jignasa Narto Yascheha Karma Bihi. Jivasya Tattva Jignasa. The living entity should actually inquire about the absolute truth. One should not endeavor too much for the, one should not over endeavor for the material happiness, whereas one must be focused on the spiritual purpose. So these two, this is quoted by Prabhupada. So Dhruva Maharaj regrets his unfortunate position, for although he approached the Supreme Lord, he is able to give his devotee the highest benediction, a Bhavachida. Except for Vishnu, no other Devata can actually stop the cycle of material existence. That's why this verse is quoted, Harim Vina Na Mritim Taranti. So even, for example, Hiranyakashipu prayed to Brahma to become immortal. Brahma said that even I am not immortal, I cannot offer this. So only Lord Hari can release a person from samsara. Therefore, Lord Hari is called as Bhavachida. So the Vaishnava philosophy prohibits a devotee from material desires, because the definition of pure bhakti is Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. So Anyabhilashita Shunyam. So Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam, bhakti should not be covered by Jnana and Karma, should be freed from all the ulterior motives. So Dhruva Maharaj got the Vishnu mantra from Narada Muni, but he is regretting that after getting initiated in the Vaishnava Vishnu mantra, but he still aspired for material benefits. So therefore, he is lamenting. So, how foolish I am. that while practicing bhakti, I prayed for something temporary. So, in other words, this sentence is very important. Every one of us who is engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness should be completely free from material aspirations. Otherwise, we will have to lament like Dhruva Maharaj. It's a profound statement. So, I'll also, in connection to this particular statement, we will also see Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Prahlad, when Lord Narsingadev told Prahlad Maharaj to ask for a benediction, so that time, Prahlad, what is Prahlad Maharaj's reply? Some of those shlokas we'll see. So Prahlad Maharaj said that Mamam pralobayotpatya saktam kameshu tairvaraihi tatsanga bhito nirvinno mumukshustvam Mamam pralobaya. Please do not tempt me. Because I am born in a Asura family. So I have an inborn nature to be attached to material enjoyment. So truly, please do not tempt me by offering benedictions. Tat sanga bhito nirvinno, detached from material life, fearing the association with those desires. Tat sanga bhito nirvinno. And mumukshu, desiring freedom from material desire, I have taken shelter of you. That is the I am aspiring for freedom from material desire. For that, in that mood, I have taken shelter of you. But why are you tempting me by telling me to ask for some benediction? Anyway, I am born in an Asuric family. Asuras are attached to material enjoyment. So I have this inborn nature, and if you tempt me further, my inborn nature will come out. So further, Prahlad Maharaj, few verses later also he says that. Very beautiful shloka. He says that Nanyata te khilaguru gateta karunatmanah yasta ashisha ashaste nasabritya savaivanik. The person who desires material benedictions from you is not your true devotee. He is like a merchant. He's trying to have just like India and America, they are trying to have a trade negotiations by putting how much tariffs they will have for their different goods to sell. Similarly, if a person goes to Krishna and asks for material desires, then he is also doing like a trade negotiator. He's trying to be a merchant only. So then he says, Aham tvakamas tvadbhaktas. So yeah, Yadi dasyasi me kaman varamstvam varadarshaba kamanam hridya samroham bhavatastu vrinevaram. Yadi dasyasi, if at all you desire to bestow a benediction upon me, then I pray that from the core of my heart, let the material desires not grow. Kamanam hridi asamroham bhavatastu vrinevaram. If at all you desire to give me a benediction, I pray that the material desires don't grow from the core of my heart. What a prayer Prahlad Maharaj is praying here. So, and then the next shloka he talks about the result of material desires. Indriyani manaprana atma dharmo dhritirmatihi Hri Shri Tejasmriti Satyam yasya nashyanti janmana. By the appearance of material desires, the functions of one's senses, mind, life years, body, dharma, determination, intelligence, shyness, wealth, strength, memory, and truthfulness. Yasya nashyanti. All these things are destroyed because of material desires. Similar to what Krishna says in the Gita. Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavah. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate. Sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate. So Krishna speaks about another sequence. Kama to krodha, krodha to क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोह सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रमः स्मृति भ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Here Prahlad Maharaj says that when a person becomes obsessed with a material desires, all these things get destroyed. So, and there's another beautiful this one verse, the 10th canto. So, how can a person get rid of the material desires? So, this is spoken by Krishna to the gopis in the chapter on Krishna stealing the garments of the gopis. Namai aveshita diyam kama kamaya kalpate bharjita kvatita dhana prayo bijaya neshate. Na mai aveshita diyam. The desire of those who fix their minds on me does not lead to material desire for sense gratification. Just like a barley kernels burned by the sun and then cooked can no longer grow into new sprouts. So therefore, when a person fixes his mind on Krishna, then such a mind will never lead to sense gratification, because by fixing the mind on Krishna, a person will experience a superior taste. Therefore, that mind will never produce material desire. Just like a seed which has been burnt and roasted, when you plant it, it will never actually sprout. Similarly, the mind is fixed on Krishna, that mind will never produce material desire. So this is the solution to overcome material desires. So coming back. So this is the Prabhupada's purport. That's a very important sentence Prabhupada says. In other words, every one of us who is engaged in Krishna consciousness should be completely freed from material aspiration. Otherwise, we will have to lament like Dhruva Maharaj. Next shloka. Matir vidushita devaihi
मतिर्विदूषिता देवैः
patadbirasa kishnubihi
पतद्भिरसृणुभिः
yo narada vachastatyam
यो नारदवचस्तथ्यं
nagrahishamasattamaha.
नाग्राहि समसत्तमः. Translation. Since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary system will have to come down again, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of sage Narada.
Matir vidushita devaihi patadbir asahishnubihi yo narada vachastatyam nagrahisham asattamaha. So Dhruva Maharaj is saying that my intelligence was contaminated with the devatas. patadbihi means mad apekshaya adasthanam praptavadbihi. Compared to me, mad apekshaya, the devas were there in a even more fallen condition, adasthanam. Such devatas, asahishnubihi, they were unable to tolerate me. Asahishnubihi devaihi, indriyadi adishtatrubihi. The devatas are basically the presiding deities of the different indriyas. The presiding deities of the different senses, those indriyas were unable to tolerate me, who were mad apekshaya adasthanam praptavadbihi, who were more fallen than me. They mama matir vidushita, they contaminated my mind. Yoham asattamaha tatyam satyamapi नारदस्य वचः न अधुना अपि इत्यादि पूर्वमुक्तं न अग्राहिषं न गृहीतवान्. Narada told me earlier that you are just a small child. Why do you have to take the insult of a stepmother so seriously? Narada told me like that. But because my mind was contaminated with this devatas, I could not take the instructions of Narada Muni seriously. Na agrahisham. I did not actually take the words of Narada Muni seriously. So Vishwanath Chakravarti also says, my intelligence was bewildered with the devatas who had fallen lower than what I would fall and were intolerant, asahishnubihi. So therefore, being most corrupt, asattamaha, I did not accept Narada Vachas Tatyam na agrahisham. I did not accept his advice. So here Prabhupada's purport. Many times, sometimes when some sages perform intense austerities, devatas become little envious. Maybe these people will occupy our position. But we should not think that all the devatas are always so much of envious. Devatas are also supposed to like check the people. Sometimes people with a wrong aspiration, they may perform austerities and then they may want to occupy a superior position. And because they have a wrong aspiration, wrong intention, they may misuse that power. So in order to stop those people from attaining those positions, sometimes the devatas are allowed to actually put obstacles in their austerities. It's like sometimes a person with a wrong intention, a terrorist, suppose he goes to study some nuclear physics in order to make an atom bomb, then the government should actually stop such people from pursuing such this one. So sometimes the devatas do like that, but sometimes the devatas also become envious. So because sometimes they also have there's an insecurity in them. They are also afraid of losing their posts. So because the devatas position is also impermanent. So sometimes they put obstacles in the life of people who are performing austerities. So devatas, they control the different limbs of our bodies. We are not even free, even in moving our eyelids. Even our eyelids is actually controlled by a devata called as Nimi. A devata called as Nimi. So that is why one of the reason Harishuri Maharaji writes in his Bhagavatam commentary when when Harishori Maharaj says that when Krishna closed his eyes, when Putana lifted Krishna, Krishna closed his eyes. So at that time, one of the reason Harishori Maharaj says is that Nimi is a person who is in charge of the eyelids. So he thought that exactly what he thought. He felt that I think Krishna may award her by his glance. Krishna may award Putana. Krishna may bestow his mercy by his glance. So thinking like that, Nimi Maharaj actually closed his eyes. Maybe I have to just check the exact reason. So yeah, even our eyelid is also controlled by a Devata. So Dhruva Maharaj's conclusion is that these demigods, being envious of his superior position in devotional service, conspired against him to pollute his intelligence. Therefore, he felt that I could not accept Narada's valid instructions. So Narada Muni told him that why do you take the words of your stepmother so seriously? But I didn't take those Narada Muni's instructions so seriously. Instead, I was determined to pursue my material aspiration. If I had taken Narada Muni's instruction seriously, then I would not have pursued those material desires. I could have just practiced bhakti to worship Vishnu with a pure devotional intention. But my mind was matir vidushita, maybe probably the devatas contaminated their mind. This is also Dhruva Maharaj's thinking. So Dhruva Maharaj regretted that he had rejected the advice of Narada Muni and was adamant in asking for something perishable. So Dhruva Maharaj regretted very much that he could not seriously take the instruction of his spiritual master and that his consciousness was therefore contaminated. So still the Lord is so merciful that due to Dhruva's execution of devotional service, he offered Dhruva the ultimate Vaishnava goal. So we see that a devotee, we discussed previously also, I think 2 weeks back. Yes, the sign of a sincere devotee, the sign of a pure devotee is that he repents for the past material desires. He repents for his past sinful activities. Even if he had not performed any mistakes in the last, say, 50 years, 50 years before, if he had led a life in forgetfulness of Krishna, so a pure devotee or a sincere devotee would repent for those that part of his life. So in that way, Dhruva Maharaj is repenting that I did not take the instruction of my spiritual master seriously. I was so much affected by the insult of a stepmother. Therefore, I was strongly attached to fulfilling my material desire. Next shloka. Daivi mayamupashritya
Daivi Carry on, Prabhuji.
No, you read Mataji.
Daivim mayam upastritya
prasupta iva bhinnadrik
prasupta iva bhinnadvika
tapye dvitiye pyasati
tapye dvitiye pyasati
भ्रातृव्य रुद्रुजा
bhatravya rudduruja. Translation. Dhruva Maharaj lamented, I was under the influence of the illusory energy, being ignorant of the actual facts. I was sleeping on her lap, under a vision of duality. I saw my brother as my enemy, and falsely I lamented within my heart, thinking, they are my enemies.
So, Daivim Mayam Upashritya Prasupta iva Binnadrika Tapye Dvitiyepya Sati Bratru Bratruvya Hrudruja. Very beautiful shloka. He's saying that Daivim, that means Devanam Shakti Rupam Mayam Jagan Mohinim Upashritya. Devanam Shakti Rupam Mayam Jagan Mohinim Upashritya. Or being under the simple meaning is that having taken shelter of the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Dvitiye Bhagavat Vyatirikte Vastu Anya Satyapi Prasupta Iva. So, Dvitiye Bhagavat Vyatirikte Vastun Vastu Anya Satyapi Prasupta Iva Yata Suptaha Swapnartan Pashyan Dvitiye Asatyapi Vyagra Sarpadibhyah Khidyate Tadvat Binnadrik Bedadarshi Aham Bratruvya Hrudruja Brataiva Dukkadatvat Bratruvyaha Shatruriti Bedadrishtya Hridaya Rogenaiva Tapa Janaka Shokena Tapye Tapam Anuvavami. So Dhruva Maharaj is essentially saying that because of having taken shelter of the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord, I considered my brother to be my enemy. Bratru means brother. Bratruvya means the enemy. I considered the brother to be my enemy because my brother was sitting on the lap of my father. I could not sit on the lap of my father. I considered my brother to be my competitor and enemy. And Prasupta iva Binnadrik. I was actually sleeping, taking shelter of the Lord's Maya, seeing differences. Binnadrik, seeing differences, pained in the heart. Hridruja, by an enemy in the form of my brother. Bratruvya, I suffer from illusory things. Just like a person seeing in a dream. A person who is dreaming of being chased by a tiger or a serpent. He is actually suffering in the dream. So similarly, my suffering was like a suffering of a person in the dream because I considered my brother to be my enemy. All this is because of I was under the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord, or I was in Maya. I had a Binnadrik, I had a differential outlook because I was seeing from a bodily point of view. Well, I am not allowed to sit on the lap of my father. My brother is allowed to sit on the lap of my father. My brother is my enemy. I was as if seeing the dream, Prasupta iva. Although it is false, one experiences pain by vision of tigers or snakes in the dream. So similarly, I uselessly suffered the pain in the heart by an enemy in the form of a brother. So therefore, I suffered considering my enemy, brother to be my enemy, and the Lord's under in the influence of Lord's Maya Shakti, I suffered. I became bewildered, seeing him as an enemy. So Prabhupada also we see. So real knowledge is revealed to a devotee when he comes to the right conclusion about life by the grace of the Lord. So our creation of friends and enemies within the material world is something like dreaming at night. The conception of friend and enemy. In the Prahlad Maharaj, when he sent to the school of Shanda and Amarka, Prahlad Maharaj, what he did not like in the school of Shanda and Amarka was that in the Shanda and Amarka, they were only teaching about, so the school of the Asuras, they were only teaching about friends and enemies, how to make friendship with the, how to make actually friendship with those people, other Asuras, how to conquer the enemies. So Prahlad Maharaj did not like this teaching. So you see this shloka. Yattatra guruna proktam shushruve anupapatacha nasadu manasa mene swaparasat grahashrayam. Prahlad certainly heard and recited the topics of politics and economics taught by the teachers. But he understood that political philosophy involves considering someone a friend and someone else an enemy, and therefore he did not like it. We see in this world what a double standard by America actually. America, it is supporting the attack on Iran, saying that they have nuclear weapons. But then America says that, oh, we have a great partner in Pakistan. What a great partner. They glorify Pakistan. And Pakistan has been made as the head of the some institution which checks, I think, terrorists, I think. The greatest terrorist country is made as the head of the institution which checks terrorists. And America supports that. So there is absolutely no room for principles. They consider one terrorist country as a friend, another terrorist country as an enemy. It is completely based on sense gratification, actually. So Prahlad Maharaj did not like this idea of someone as a friend and someone as an enemy. So Prabhupada says politics involves accepting one group of men as enemies, another group as friends. Everything in politics is based on this philosophy. So Prahlad Maharaj did not like that. So, but because he was in that school, he was obliged to hear those instructions of Shanda and Amarka. But he did not like the philosophy of friends and enemies, which forms the basis of politics. So Prabhupada says here, see, in dreams we create so many things out of various impressions in the subconscious mind. But all such creations are temporary and unreal. In the same way, when we are awake also, when a person is not aware of his position as the Atma and part and parcel of the Paramatma, we create many friends and enemies based on the bodily concept. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that within this material world or material consciousness, good and bad are the same. The distinction between good and bad is simply a mental concoction. So actual fact is that all living entities are sons of the Supreme Lord. Because of being contaminated with the modes of nature, we distinguish one spiritual spark from another. That is also another kind of dreaming only. Therefore, Gita says that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshanaha. A real Pandita does not distinguish based on the external body. He sees the spirit, soul in everything. So, in that sense, the bodily construction of a human being and that of a demigod are one and the same. So, Dhruva Maharaj is saying that Daivi Mayam Upashritya. The cause of the bewilderment was his association with the illusory material energy. Daivi Mayam. Of course, the Bhagavad Gita, Daivim Mahatmanastu Mam Prartha Daivim Prakriti Mashritaha. There the Daivi Prakriti refers to internal energy. Here Daivi Mayam Upashritya, this shloka refers to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Next shloka. मयैतत् प्रार्थितं व्यर्थं चिकित्सेव गतायुषि प्रसाद्य जगदात्मानं तपसा दुष्प्रसादनं भवच्छिदमयाचेहं भवं भाग्यविवर्जितः. Somebody can read translation.
It is very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in my case, although I have satisfied the super soul of the universe, I have prayed only for useless things. My activities were exactly like treatment given to a person who is already dead. Just see how unfortunate I am, for in spite of meeting the Supreme Lord, who can cut one's link with birth and death, I have prayed for the same conditions again.
So here, Mayaitat Prarthitam Vyartham. Vyartham Prarthitam. Vyartham means useless. I prayed for useless things. Vyartham Prarthitam. He gives an analogy. Chikitsa iva gatayushi. Gata ayushi means one whose life is already gone. That means a dead person. Chikitsa iva, giving treatment to a dead person or giving a medicine to a dead person. So uh, sometimes, of course, I heard how much it is true, but sometimes the medical industry, which is hospital, functions like an industry. Sometimes the patient is already dead, but they continue to keep him in the ICU for 1 day, 2 days extra, not declaring that he is dead, just so that more money can be extracted. So when giving treatment to a dead person is useless. So similarly, just like that, I prayed for useless things. So you can see that Dhruva Maharaj, he is considering the aspiration to attain a position greater than that of Lord Brahma. It is like a highest material aspiration. He is considering that aspiration to be vyartham, useless. So, prasadya jagadatmanam, having pleased the Supreme Lord, who is the jagadatmanam, who is the soul of the universe, and who is dush prasadanam, who is very difficult to please by austerities. Tapasa dush prasadanam. And bhavachidam, who can actually destroy the material existence. But what I prayed, ayache, aham ayache. I prayed, what I prayed? Bhagya vivarjita bhavam. I prayed for bhavam, I prayed for material enjoyment. Because bhagya vivarjita, I was devoid of good fortune. I was devoid of good fortune. So, Dhruva Maharaj is thinking about his previous material desire and then lamenting. So it shows a profound, sincere attitude of a pure devotee. A pure devotee laments for his previous material desires. Sometimes it so happens that a devotee engaged in loving service desires a material benefit in exchange for his service. This is not the proper way to discharge devotional service. Out of ignorance, of course, sometimes a devotee does so, but Dhruva Maharaj regrets his previous behavior in this connection. So last shloka, very important shloka. Swarajyam yacchato maudhyan.
स्वराज्यं यच्छतो मोद्यान्
Mano me bhikshito bata.
मनो मे भिक्षितो बत
Ishvarat kshina punyena.
ईश्वराशीन पुण्येन
Phalikarani vadanah.
फलीकारान इवादनः. Translation: Because of my state of complete foolishness and paucity of pious activities, although the Lord offered me his personal service, I wanted material name, fame, and prosperity. My case is just like that of the poor man who, when he satisfied a great emperor who wanted to give him anything he might ask, out of ignorance, asked only a few broken grains of husked rice.
So we see Swarajyam Yachato Maudyan Mano me Bhikshito Bata. So here also the word Bata comes. Again he is exclaiming. So from the Supreme Lord who offered service to himself. Swarajyam is an important word. Swarajyam. Swarajyam means, it literally means kingdom. But for a devotee, what is the real prosperity? The opportunity to perform service to the Lord. That is the Swarajyam. So Swarajyam here refers to service to himself. Swarajyam. From the Lord who offered service to himself, Maudyan. Maudyan means because of pride. Yachataha, I prayed for Mano me Bhikshito Bata. I asked for material pride. Out of pride, I asked for material pride. That means I asked for some high position in this material world. And then he says that Palikaran iva adanaha. Adanaha means poor man. It is just like a poor man who out of foolishness asked the emperor for a few small grains of rice. Ishwarat kshina punyena palikaran ivadana. Suppose a big rich man, Ambani or Adani, he has written a blank check, he is ready to give a blank check to a poor man. And the poor man asks for some chikki. Please give me a chikki packet. He is ready to give a blank check, but he is asking for some chikki packet. So similarly, Dhruva Maharaj is saying that the Lord was ready to offer service to himself, but on the other hand, I prayed for some material position. So Swarajya means who is glorious in himself with bhakti, or he possesses his own king, or he who is a servant. The Lord gives the position of service to his devotee. What pride I have asking for material things. It is just like a poor man having lost his intelligence, begging some grains of rice from the emperor. Being clever and very generous, the king gives more wealth than one can imagine to that person. So the Lord wanted to give me his own abode, but see the height of my foolishness. What unlimited mercy and generosity of the Lord, and see the height, I am the height of foolishness. So, but I pray, I had aspired for some material benediction. So Dhruva Maharaj became completely paralyzed in astonishment for a moment. So in this verse, the word Swarajyam means complete independence is very significant. So Swarajyam, Prabhupada says it means complete independence. A conditioned soul thinks that my complete independence is to enjoy my senses according to my own whims. But that kind of freedom is like the freedom of a football, which is ready to be kicked by 20 people. So the real independence is to declare our dependence on Krishna. So just like a child who plays in complete independence, guided by his parents who watch over him. So the independence of the conditioned soul does not mean to fight with the obstacles offered by Maya, but to surrender it to Krishna. So in the material world, everyone is trying to become completely independent by fighting against obstacles offered by Maya. That is the struggle for existence. But the real independence is to be reinstated in the service of the Lord. There's another shloka in the third canto. Bhukta Bhoga Parityakta Drishta Doshacha Nityashaha Neshwarasya Shubham Datte Sve Mahimni Sitasya Cha. When a person understands the fault in trying to lord it over matter, at that time, having understood one's constitutional position as a servant of the Lord, then such a living entity truly becomes situated in his own glory. So, anyone who goes to the Vaikuntha planets is freely offering his service to the Lord. That is complete independence. So many political leaders have tried to establish independence, but due to such so-called independence, the people's dependence has only increased. India got freedom from Britain, but then if we analyze more, it's not, we did not completely become free actually. Our dependence has only increased more. We're still following the Western ways of living only. The industry-centric living, which makes the people more and more dependent. So the living entity cannot be happy trying to be independent in the material world. So one has to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Dhruva Maharaj is regretting that he wanted material opulence and greater prosperity than that of Brahma. His begging from the Lord was like a poor man asking a great emperor for a few grains of broken rice. So the conclusion is that anyone who is engaged in the service of the Lord should never ask for material prosperity from the Lord. The awarding of material prosperity simply depends on the stringent rules and regulations of the external energy. So pure devotees, they only ask for the privilege of serving the Lord, because that is the real independence of a living entity. So we see the word, two words are there, Sanata and Anata. Anata means without a master. Sanata means with a master. So when a person is without the Bhagavan as the master, even though he may be having a big bank balance, lot of security, he may be having lot of relatives, property, etc. But if he is not having Krishna as the master, he is truly an anatha. He is an orphan. On the other hand, somebody from material point of view, a person is an anatha. Like Narada Muni's mother died when he was just a 5-year-old. And Narada Muni had absolutely no shelter. He had no money, no house. House got burnt. From material point of view, he was anatha. But what Narada Muni's consciousness, he said that tada tadaham ishasya bhaktanam sham abhipsatam anugraham manyamana pratishtam dishamuttara. That Lord who always desires the welfare of his devotee, he has shown his mercy upon me in this situation. Thinking like that, Narada Muni went towards the northern direction. So that child Narada, because he had taken shelter of the Lord, he was actually a Sanatha. Therefore, this verse is a very important shloka that Dhruva Maharaj is saying that Swarajyam, Lord was ready to give me his service, but I aspired for material benediction. So I am such a foolish person. So we will also discuss in the next class some more points regarding the Dhruva Maharaj's lamentation in relation to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There are one of the secondary Bhakti Rasa is called as Bibhatsa Rasa. that in relation to Bibhatsa Rasa also we'll try to see the sections. And then we'll go to the next shloka next week. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions?
I had heard one more thing, like, there is a man, the good Lord appears in front of him and he just says, shift my burden of my whatever I'm carrying to another shoulder. He could have asked something from God, like bhakti or whatever, but he said, shift the burden from my one shoulder to another shoulder, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, so regarding, I have one question, but before that, I just remembered one thing regarding the politics. It was mentioned. So regarding I remembered the Prithu Maharaj, what he says to the citizens. He says that you order me what to do. And then because he says that king who only collect taxes but does not give them, instruct them about the devotion to the Supreme Lord, he suffers some sins of the people. So in today's world, we see that how much they are just taking and fighting with each other, considering one as an enemy and other as a friend, like Prahlad Maharaj said. I just remember that Pitu Maharaj is, I guess. And Prabhu, my question is that, see, Prabhuji, we pray the Gaudiya Vaishnavas that na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. But what I was reflecting just now in this, when I was hearing that I also pray for that, but I sometimes in the office talk that, oh, this year there was not fair increment. I also think of my children's education, their marriage. So I also think of money. I require money, but when I go to the Lord, I say na dhanam na janam na sundari. So I was thinking, am I being duplicitous there? That there I don't ask from Lord, but in the mind I am thinking that, oh, some good increment should have been made because as per the inflation rate. So how to reconcile this?
That's all right. Naturally, your inflation is increasing and then expenses are increasing. The natural expectation, the salary should increase. There is a natural thing. But yeah, we also have to be practical sometimes. In the we may have to express that, and then or we may have to plan for a position which can give a better opportunity for balancing your spiritual life. So these things are the part of this one. That doesn't become our ultimate goal. That doesn't become our ultimate goal. But working towards this financial stability so that we can practice spiritual life, that is a we don't make that as ultimate goal, but expecting certain financial stability for raising the children who are also devotees, or as a devotee, you want to give them proper facilities. That's all right. So even when a person has certain material desire, one can, and if it is very much troubling, one can ask Krishna, if you so desire, please fulfill this. That we completely trust Krishna. From our point of view, we may think that this is the best situation for me, but Krishna may see the overall picture. So we have to, therefore, we can always trust Krishna's intelligence. And whenever we pray for something, we can add the point that if you so desire, then we can add.
Yes, Prabhu, yes. And Prabhu, regarding that Hari Suri Das, what Nimi was thinking, I have some written in chat box. Is that correct, Prabhu?
Yeah, when Putana came, Maharaj Nimi, who resides in everyone's size, we are considered to be. No, this sun and moon, there is one shloka, because the sun and moon are considered to be the Krishna size.
Mm-hmm.
So, sun, there are two paths. The 8th chapter of the Gita, Krishna talks about Shukla Marga and Krishna Marga.
Mm-hmm.
One is the path of the sun, and another the path of the moon. Sun
Mm-hmm.
and moon thought that Krishna, he is completely independent. He may show complete mercy to Putana, or he may not show mercy to Putana because he is completely independent. But as far as we are concerned, our paths, the Shukla Marga and Krishna Marga, they are glorified by the wise people. We will not allow Putana to go through our paths. Thinking like that, sun and moon close their eyes.
Yes.
We will not allow Putana to go by our paths. So, Nimi Maharaj, there is another reason. I don't have the book immediately. I read it.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Thank you for those comments. Indra told Muchukunda, ask for any benediction except liberation.
I think I'm not able to. I'll find out and tell Shyam Mukund Prabhuji. But I read that I heard in Maharaj's lecture that material body will need material things, but one should not get involved in materialism. And then he elaborated on the whole thing. So, Prabhuji, is it okay to ask something else other than this today's lecture? Because then I get stuck. I will have to go ahead with it if I don't understand this point. Is it okay to ask?
Okay.
So, when yourself mentioned about this, that since Brahma Vidya is established only by abandoning all sorts of differentiation, because incapable Gnan is not accepted as absolute truth. So, how would you define this? All sorts of differentiation?
Differentiation based on the body,
Okay.
based on the external body. Brahma Vidya, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma, na shochati na kankshati, samas sarveshu bhuteshu, madbhaktim labate para. Seeing everyone as a Atma, part and parcel of Bhagavan. Not differentiation based on the external body. 18th chapter also Krishna speaks about knowledge in Sattva Guna, knowledge in Rajo Guna, knowledge in Tamo Guna. Knowledge in Rajo Guna, he talks about where a person differentiates based on the body. Knowledge in like Rajo, Sattva Guna is that a person does not differentiate based on the external body. So this, for example, the caste consciousness is so prominent based on the body. Yeah, there are arranging for the marriage based on based on the varna. There is a principle in that, but sometimes people become so deeply caste conscious. I won't tell the name, but so devotee, one devotee, she wanted to get married to a devotee boy, but the parents were mainly focused on caste. They were very much focused on the caste-based consideration. But somehow she took a bold decision. She wanted to get married to a devotee boy, but the parents did not agree. She got married to the devotee boy, actually. But the parents did not come for the marriage only. And but more than that, what happened? children are born, and then even after many years, the parents have not visited the girl even once. So they were so stubborn. At least like, she didn't get married to some Christian or Muslim or somebody like another subcaste in the same community as this one. And but being so stubborn about the caste consciousness. But people, the daughter has already got children, and then they don't meet the people. So that means the caste consciousness sometimes it's so prominent. When people become so stubborn that we will not allow our children to get married to anybody outside the caste. So, so there is a healthy caste consciousness, like Brahmanas getting married to Brahmana, Kshatriya getting married to. In a dharmic center, that may be there. But then there is an obsessive, uh, passionate caste consciousness that is like a differentiating based on the external body only. So Brahma Bhuta stage, where a person does not differentiate based on the external body. That is also the knowledge in Sattva Guna. That is how Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Bhagavad Gita, that shloka comes.
And the adjuncts which are required only for the sake of interesting experiences, each arising moments in bliss of trance. So that interesting experiences, how would you define how would you?
Can you repeat again?
The adjuncts are required only for the sake of providing